Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. We finally have a nice breather. I'm catching up from the sorcery blitz. I got a nice little 30, 45-day runway before we go into crazy Flesh and Blood, the old Mistfield there with the crazy anime stuff and the Japanese stuff. We got a nice little calm, Modern Horizons 3 for Magic. We're like 45 days out. Outlaw's Lunar Junction turned out okay. And I know, it didn't collapse. Foreclosed Karlov is not happy to see that because his other friends didn't collapse. And of course, Pokemon were right after Temporal. So, this brings me a great thing to go back to some brutal honesty and discussion of Rudy opinion of old Magic cards. I'm getting a lot of messages from you all, a lot of patrons like, Rudy, beep, boop, 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 boop. I'm not buying none of that new stuff from me, beep, boop, boop. But please talk about the reserve list and talk about your own, you've got so many millions in old Magic cards. Will you beep, boop, 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 boop? Will you talk about what's going on? What's your opinion? Are we going to see anything? Is it over with? Are the glory days? All right. Calm down, Princess Jasmine. Let me tell you what's going on. Here comes a hot take. Not much is going on. Here's another hot take. I don't think much is going to happen. So, it feels mid-April 2024, it still feels that old Magic cards are very out of favor. I haven't sold any of mine. You guys know my position in just vintage Magic is pretty substantial. Probably it's in the 8 figures. And it's one of those situations where I'm still very happy with it. I don't regret anything. I don't regret, Rudy, you should have sold them all right at the peak. And you would have gotten 10 figures and then, bought it back. And, I don't engage in market timing like that. Because it's a very stressful, not really winnable game long term. You can get some things right, but then you'll miss some other ones and you just average out. So let's start with Alpha, Beta, and Limit, ABU. Then we'll go into those 4 Horsemen sets and some Urzas, Commanders, and Strongholds. And ABU, first revised dual lands. They are pretty stable. Like if you look at most major buy lists from the Moon Cities, Card Castle, Kingdom, Snowballs, you look at all these big companies, they're pretty, you got the big blue dual lands, buy list pricing in near mint condition. Going to be probably around your 500 a card. And, when you have dings and dents on the side, probably in the 300s. The cheap dual lands, the good old plateaus and the non-blues and kind of the not as favorable color schemes. Probably going to be near mint, buy lists in, 2 to 250, maybe 300. And played into, the 150, 250 range. It's pretty stable. I think that's a real positive thing that I don't think people are getting enough credit for. And to remind you all, remember, we are coming off a 2-year greatest bear market crash of modern Magic history. Again, before that, 3 years ago, the greatest bull market boom to the moon tendy thing in modern history. So as we leave all that drama in the past of extreme parabolic ups and the extreme roller coaster of tacos back down, we are back to where things should be. I think at this point in time, most of the people who were jumped into the market post-2020 to try to make money or maybe open a quick LGS or leave or flip, again, all those people are gone. The people today who are actually going to watch a video like this, like the views on a reserve list old Magic video like this are going to be extremely low. Like the views on this video, I would expect, I don't even think it'll break 20,000. It'll probably be like 10,000 views, or maybe after a week, maybe it goes 20,000, maybe, I don't know. I'm doing less videos because I've been busy, so maybe it will be higher. But the interest is just not there on old farts Rudy cards and old Magic things. Like it's just the hype and the allure is just not pulling in that direction. Kind of like we talked about probably about a month ago, and then like 2 months ago and 4 months ago, then beginning of the year of 2024. I know it doesn't really fit a lot of the, kind of tinfoil hat narratives, but I continue. You haven't seen a lot of collection buying videos on this channel because, again, either the collections I am buying, I just haven't filmed them, or the buyer does not want to be filmed because, as you guys have known, sometimes we do collection videos and sometimes, the internet will kind of go after it, or I know that person, they kind of create a lot of drama and kind of enjoyable things post-collection buying, so a lot of things just don't get filmed. But I can also tell you all, for example, in the last 60 days, I would say in 60 days, there's probably been 5 high-end collection deals that I've acquired into the Rudy Vault. But in the last 60 days, there's probably been over 20 to 40 high collection buying deals of just new sealed product. So about 80–90% of Rudy's spending and capital deployment is still going to new sealed product, you know, and only 10, maybe 15, less than 20% of purchasing is going to vintage related products. And actually, half of my vintage buying right now has actually been private deals with some of these large companies online of actually sealed legends, sealed antiquities, sealed revive, actually been sealed boxes lately. It just has, some of these stores will get deals, will be at a convention, will take a picture, and they'll say, hey Rudy, Legends box XYZ, we just want to make $2,000, will you buy this if we buy this from the customer now? And things like that take place to kind of keep these bigger companies liquid sometimes, and they just flow it right to me, and they get a small cut, maybe a 5% cut or something. So this leaves us back to the original thing. Is, Rudy, do you think we are on the verge of any uptick or exciting move of old Magic cards or vintage sealed boxes or single cards in the ABU era? And the unfavorable answer to you all is no, I don't think so. As much as I'd like to tell you all I'm seeing signs of major upticks or moving, kind of like I was doing 6 months ago with new Magic, unfortunately, I am unhappy to report to you all, I am still not seeing any good preliminary indicators of growth, excitement, or money flowing back to old Magic cards. I'm just not seeing it. Again, trust me, the moment I see a major shift, I will be the first one to pump out 10 YouTube videos and tell you all, vintage Magic's on the move, things are changing, this is it. Next market cycle for AB, I will be the first one to discuss it. Unfortunately, April of 2024, similar to December and November of 2023, 6 months ago, I am still reporting to you all the next update, and that update is the only people buying old Magic cards are essentially people playing Commander, building old collections, old set collecting, or again, investing in old collections or expanding it. But it is still a loyal base of people, but I am not seeing any tremendous new blood or new young people or new excitement going towards in buying and wanting to deploy money into old cards. I'm not seeing, like for example, right now, like on Moon Cities and Castle Kingdoms and Snowballs and awesome stuff, the average buy list for Unlimited, Power 9, the Moxons, okay? Just like the Mox, okay? The 5 pieces of jewelry, Unlimited, the only whiteboard one. Rudy's favorite Power 9, the only whiteboarded versions, because of how difficult it is to keep those things from yellowing and everything. And again, you don't really have reback issues for the Unlimited either. Rudy's favorite Unlimited Power 9, I continue to see quietness. Like, the 5 different Moxons, like, Pearl, Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald, Jet, like, the prices, the average buy list for near mint Moxes that are Unlimited is averaging like around $3,000 for minty condition. In rough conditions are, $1,000 to $2,000, say $1,500 average. And again, a little bit more for obviously Emerald and a little less for Pearl. But, Sapphire. But it's still they're not adjusting upwards. I'm not seeing a lot of supply come to the market. I don't see a lot of sellers still dumping and unloading post-Magic 30. But at the same time, while we see exhaustion on the sell side pressure, we do not see, there is no evidence of any bullishness or people wanting to deploy capital into old Magic cards post-Magic 30 and post the 2-year bear market crash. Now, tremendous money has moved back into Magic the Gathering for new product, new sealed product, and of course new, playable, modern Commander and standard staples or whatever. There is actually a surprisingly strong market since we bottomed in October, November of 2023. We've had 6 months now, which I'm pretty much to the point of telling you all. Like I said, we've had 6 months of strength in new Magic, which that's why I told you all. The market's already turned. We've already bottomed. The quick money and the people who are kind of getting in early, I mean, it's already moved. But I still don't see any major activity in the old stuff. Like I'm continuing, like on new product, you have Lost Caverns of Ixalan. By the way, Wilds of Eldraine Collector, should make a video on that. 230s on TCG Player, all-time high since release day. Wildsville Drain collectors, Ixalan collectors, Ravnica collectors, Lord of the Ring collectors. I didn't check Doctor Who. I think Doctor Who was flat, the collectors. Obviously, Fallout collectors, almost 500 plus tax, or probably already 450, 460 plus tax, already 500. And then, of course, we got Karlov, which foreclosed. And now we've got Thunder Junction holding extremely strong on TCG Player. And I don't, all these new products in Magic are actually continuing to outperform the old Magic. Now, again, just because it's happening now doesn't mean in the long game and in the long run that that's going to hold true. But the current market cycle, that is where the off to the races is going on. That's where the horses are going right now. Now, we have seen, history has shown us, we can go through a whole nother year, 2 years. We can go 3 years. And, Library of Alexandria's, Rudy's Bazaar Baghdad's, Unlimited Power can stay at the exact same prices. We may see no uptick, no excitement for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But it doesn't mean, year 6 years from now, all of a sudden we go through a 6 to 9 month window where everything just jumps like 30, 40, 50%. Because remember, markets are not linear, and that always leads people to being a bad collector and investor, because people want to feel like they have steady growth. But in reality, the S&P 500, owning real estate, owning Bitcoin, owning collectibles, owning whatever you're into, it's never linear. You can buy things and you can hold on to it. In a year, 2 years, 3, 4 years can go by, and maybe you bought at the peak of 2008 before the S&P crashed, or maybe you bought right in the peak right before the COVID crash of 2020, and then you rode it all the way down and rode it all the way back up, and now you can go through multiple years, and you're going. And I get messages like this all the time. People, Rudy, I've been doing monthly contributions to my retirement account, and I said, stop right there, keep doing it, and if you're not making money, do it more. Because that tells me the market's still either underappreciated or undervalued or whatever. And eventually you have, look at 2024. You have a market turning where 18 months ago in the summer of 2022 when gas prices went crazy and we were going through the magic bear market crash, the S&P was like a 2, 3, everything was tanking. And nobody wanted to buy anything because you're just like, well, Rudy, everything I buy, I'm down the next morning. The sun comes up, I get punched in the face. I go to bed, I wake up, sun comes up, I get punched in the face. Why am I going to keep doing it? Because you have to. And eventually you're going to wake up and you don't get punched in the face. That's a good analogy. You have to keep doing it until you stop getting punched in the face. Okay? And that is my view on the old Magic world and the reserve list right now. It's been 9 years on YouTube, and I'm going to say the same thing. The reserve list isn't going anywhere. Wizards tried to get near the reserve list infamous line in the sand with Magic 30. It went down as one of the biggest disasters in modern Magic history. And I don't know about you all, but based on the outcome of that, how you all don't feel more confident in the reserve list now than you've ever had in human history, I don't know what to tell you. Because Wizards got near it, and it went nuclear disaster on the company. That is now, because of that event, is going to be the best deterrence protection system in place for the reserve list moving into the future than anything you could possibly ask for. And nobody seems to want to give that kind of thing credit. And that kind of thing is extremely important when you zoom out and think as if an executive or whoever would think. We've got Cynthia Williams, the head person at Wizards of the Coast. She's gone. Even if they bring someone in who's worse or stupid or different, the point is, it doesn't make a difference because the fact of the matter is the person who made the mistakes is now gone. So anyone who comes in, even if they double down and make it worse, like 11 people are afraid of, there's still the memory in that price memory of history of what just happened if I make bad choices and run Magic to the ground. So again, just the fact Cynthia Williams gave her 2-week notice and quit and everything's on good terms, get the fuck out of here. She lost her job. It is what it is. She's moving on. Just the fact that happened. Again, just the fact Magic 30 didn't work. These are all incredibly bullish indicators for long term. The problem is, we are now in this 2024 market cycle, and there's nothing exciting to report on old Magic cards. Back in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 2021, I was able to pump out all these videos about new buyouts, new card hits all-time high, new Legends, Arabian Nights, new ABU, everything, all-time. I was able to I was just keeping up. Oh, that just popped. Oh, this one, it was easy filming and market updates and trends. Now, a lot of people got angry because they just thought my reporting on that just fueled the fire, which it probably did. But now, we don't have that. There's no videos from me. I mean, I can make videos. Hey, Rudy, did you see, I don't know, Phyrexian Dreadnought? Did you see Lion's Eye Diamond? Did you see Mox Diamond? Did you see Sliver Queens? Did did you see the Cradle? These are actually doing pretty good. They are. They are. I'm not going to discount a lot of cards in the reserve list are not doing fine, but there's no major catalyst to report that these things are going to be doubling or tripling. But it is nothing wrong with, I don't know, some Mirage Reserve List Alliance or whatever it is, or Urza's, and these cards have moved up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%. Some of them from their lows a year ago are actually doubled from their lows. But it's more of a slower, steadier, healthier uptick. So, anyways, back to the beginning. So with the ABU cards, we still don't see any, the chessboard is, the pieces on the board in this mid to late phase of the game are not attractive and are not there is no indicator that we are going to see any major movements in 2024. I would love to be wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but there is no data for it. We have high interest rates. We have the vacuum of money going to new Magic, going to the new Sorcery, going to the new Star Wars, going to One Piece, going to the new Flesh and Blood, Mistveil and heavy hitters, going to the new Pokemon. You have the money flowing in these directions, but I tell you right now, it's not flowing to old Magic. And that doesn't mean it's dead, because nothing's really going down. It just means it's in an unfavorable time. It's out of cycle. It's just, they always say, like on Wall Street, there's always a sector in the market that's in a bull market kind of thing. You always have, like if the S&P 500 has what, I don't know, what, 10, 5, however many sectors in the S&P 500, I don't remember. And there's always tends to be one of those sectors. Oh, we got bad things and wars in the world, things happening. Oh, energy and oil's going up. Oh, wait, now we got cheap gas prices and cheap this and that. Okay, that's very bullish for, airline stocks. Oh, wait, interest rates are tanking. They're going to cut rates. That's bullish for tech stocks because, they can leverage up and do more R&D with less borrowing costs. Oh, wait, mortgage rates are high. Oh, interest rates are high. That's good for financial sector. And the S&P, the banks, because they're going to get more yield and more spread on their net interest margins, their NIMs. And, it's like you can argue there's always something moving and happening. And the cardboard world is no different, okay? There is no real, it's different items, but the metaphors, the movements, it's exactly the same as Wall Street. You have these different sectors of different card games, and the money just kind of picks, different times of the year and cycles, certain items are more exciting than others. And right now, unfortunately, 6 months into the 2024 bull market with new Magic, the high-end Magic remains out of favor. And it doesn't mean that Rudy's not buying. I already told you I'm still actually been buying quite a bit. Not quite a bit. I've been buying some, but nowhere near the amounts of like when the crash a year or two ago was, when the selling pressure was huge and there was just operating. I was just buying as much as I could. Now we don't have that anymore. There's no price declines. We don't see buy lists going down. We don't have any really major crashes. You go online, go on eBay. It's just, seriously. I know, well, Rudy, the private Facebook groups. Have you seen that private MySpace group? Everybody's selling. See, I don't use those websites, so I can't give you that information. But I would assume there's always going to be buyers and sellers. That's the point of it. That's a different conversation. But like if I go on eBay and I just go on there and type in Mox Pearl Unlimited, there's not, there's not thousands of them for sale. I would be surprised if Mox Pearl Unlimited even has 20, 30 copies on eBay. Like, there's not a tremendous fear or dump of the old cards. The people who have them at this point in time, after a 2-year crash and losses, they have them. The people who want to collect and enjoy and appreciate these museum quality pieces, the Rudy phrase, they still have them and they're still going to accumulate them. The people who've done this a long time they're going to be the smart money who's going to be buying and accumulating in a time like this. Okay? That's just the way markets work. When things are out of favor and there's nothing going on, the smart money tends to make their moves and get excited. So let's go to the next thing before we kind of move on today in this video. And that's the Four Horsemen sets, the Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends, and the Dark. The Dark remains very dark. No memes and giggities. The Dark remains very weak. It is the weakest of the four. It always has been. It is one of the most flavorful cool old Magic sets in human history. I believe the Dark and Fallen Empires, to this day, are some of my favorite Magic sets ever. Sure, they're not super expensive and desirable, but the feel, the art, the flavor, the themes of the set, the types, the cards, you know, it's just the really, to me, that is what made Magic famous and got it off the ground in the 90s. Was sets that had tremendous history, flavor, and feel to it. Even if the power level wasn't Urza Saga game-breaking, you know, some of these sets are iconic. And, you know, people make fun of me all the time. Like, one of the things I used to like to do, like I love Homelands. Like, Homelands, to me, is one of the most feel-good, nostalgic, cheap sets there is. Like, take some basic lands, and then literally with your friends, have fun. You can play some strip Magic or whatever, and play Magic with just cards from, like, Homelands. And, you, of course, have your basic lands, because it's not in the box. But, I mean, you know, it's, you know, I guess you could draft or whatever, but it'd be kind of hard to maybe draft Homelands. But, you know, it's so much fun to play Magic old school with just, like, you and a bunch of friends play, like, you know, you have to build decks only using Fallen Empire cards, only using Homelands cards, and, of course, you know, you have a big land bin, a basic land. And it's a whole different feel. There's no turn 2 Mega 5 combo, you're immediately dead. You know, it's a whole different, slower, moving feel when you play Magic like that. The cards feel different, the flow and the pace of the game feels different, and it's just a strange thing. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's a weird thing. I probably sound crazy right now. So, when I look at Arabian Nights, Legends, and Antiquities, same thing. I do not see any major upticks anytime soon. Now, we'll start with Arabian Nights. You have cards like Rudy's Bazaar, you have Library of Alexandria's, the Djinns and Afrits and all this stuff, and your Diamond Valleys and all the Old Mans and, you know, Guardian Beasts and City of Ass and all this crap. But when you look at the price of these, like even like Libraries and Bazaars, like Library, dude, the buy list on Library at major stores in like played condition is like $600 to $900. Like near mint buy list, these big stores around the U.S. is like $1,000 to like, I don't even know, $1,400. Like the prices of these things are still nowhere near their all-time highs. Now Bazaar is a little bit more because, you know, 4 of versus, but I mean, it's still nowhere near the highs that they were from 2021. And I don't think we're going to get there in 2024. I would be surprised if we even get back to the highs in 2025 or 2026. And again, that makes it unsexy, unattractive, and simply unappealing for a lot of people out there. I don't know how much the public wants to accept or have awareness of that there is a ton of people in this industry that don't give 2 fucks about the cards, but they truly just are in it to flip and move cards and just churn and burn. Or as you all would say on the internet many times, to just scalp and flip cards to evil kids or something. I don't know. But that has always been a part of a healthy economy and secondary market. And that segment of the market, those people who are flippers and scalpers, they're not touching old Magic cards. Now, LGSs and a collection walks in, they buy a big collection for, you know, it's worth 50 grand, and they say, yeah, I'll give you 35 grand, and they turn around and piece it out for 50 grand and make 10 grand after shipping and fees. Yeah, that still goes on all the time. And that's great business, it's good for the store, it's good for customers to have a safe outlet, it's a good thing for everybody. And of course, you'll have the people say, well, that's just, see, that's how you know Rudy, you know, he's on board with the stores that rip off small kids. I don't know why it's always tiny kids. I guess it makes it more dramatic sounding. And that's just always how perspective is going to be on the internet. But when you always have context, which context matters, it's that segment of the market does not have money going to it. People aren't flipping. Nobody's racking up their credit card to buy Arabian Nights. Nobody cares anymore. And I still love the cards, and I still buy them whenever I can, or I see a good deal, or you all send me a video or a link, or Rudy, here's some pictures and prices, PP. Rudy, I got a complete set of Arabian Nights here. It's only 1 dog bite. I'll give you 5 grand for it. Well, this one's got 2 dog bites. All right, 4,900. You know, it's one of those things where it's still happening, but it's slower moving, and there's just no hype around it. Hype man Rudy, there's nothing to hype. And there's no videos for me to make to report to you all of a big positive uptick or change or anything happening. And therefore, it doesn't, like I said, if you look at even the videos all over YouTube who discuss old magic or anything, the views are soft on everything because there's just not a lot of demand. People just aren't that interested. And that's not a bad thing. It's just where we are in a bull market of new magic and a bear market of old magic. That's just where we are, okay? So, looking forward, I do think there will eventually be an era where workshops, factories, and strip mines, and then back to Arabian Nights, old mans and diamond valleys and city of giant jiggly asses and djinns and afrits and libraries, and there will be an era where these cards start getting bids again. But it's probably going to be slow and more organic because there's no rush to do buyouts. We went many years on this channel from 2017 to 2019, 2017 to 2021, let's call it. We went many years. So out of the 9 years I've been on YouTube, I'd confidently say at least 5 of those years were years that reserve list buyouts was a big theme and a concept and is a topic I reported on at least once a week. And that era is just gone. It's not here. There's nothing exciting for people to click on and see a Rudy video pop up and say, oh my God, what's going on now? Which Legends card? I never heard of that Legends card. That was cool. How many are out there? Can I get on it? There's just, all those people are gone. Okay? The views are not going to get higher. The subscribers for many channels and people like me, they're not going to change. Things aren't really going to happen, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the ebbs and flows of the market. And right now, I think what's interesting is the ones you should be concerned with, and the items you should be concerned with, and the cards you should be concerned with, are the people who are still buying now. And the questions are, if you know someone or a store, an entity, or an evil Rudy basement dweller, if they are buying right now, and they are deploying money, it makes you wonder why they're doing it, or do they see something that maybe we don't? And those are the ones that you should really be paying a lot more attention to. Because early indicators are extremely important. That's usually where the most amount of wealth is made or transferred from other people. And right now, at least I see very limited movements of it. I know I get messages and patrons, hey Rudy, look what I got. I finally bought this. I mean, it's awesome. But it's very limited. They buy a card or they'll buy something or do a deal. But we don't see tremendous widespread upticks in the Four Horsemen sets. Now, before we end this video, which means we're halfway through, let's jump over to just like the Urzas, the Saga, Legacy, Destiny, Stronghold, Exodus, Weatherlight, Tempest kind of thing. A little bit of, we can talk about 4th edition or, I don't know, Chronicles and, Fallen Empires and Homelands and all that. But when you look at like the later 90s sets, let's call it 95 to 99 range before we rolled over to the 2000s, Mercadian Mass, and then to the first time Magic died in the early 2000s with all their fancy Scourges and Nemesis and Legions. Later 90s sets, which are incredibly old at this point, are, I know it's going to be kind of a fucking crazy thing, but are incredibly not that desirable. I mean, to see what a full set of 4th edition, or a full set of Chronicles, or Fallen Empires, or Ice Age, or, even Homelands, or even Tempest and Weatherlight and Exit, even full sets of those cards, which have some major, $100 plus cards in the reserve list, alliances, there's not much value in things going on. You look at Mirage and Visions, some of Rudy's favorite all-time. You guys know how I feel about Mirage, with like the African theme and the culture, the art and the colors and the style. It's just fucking beautiful. But Mirage is extremely out of favor. It's like bottom of the barrel, no one else cares. Like old man Rudy cares, right? And Mirage, if you do research on this stuff, look how many reserve list cards are in Mirage. It's like alliances. Take a moment. We haven't talked in like 5 years. Look up, like I should do a whole video on some of these sets in the back end of it. I'm sure the comment section is always a shit show, but I'm curious if you guys want to see, should we do more in-depth videos talking about certain specific older sets? Does anybody care anymore? Like, should we do a whole video about Mirage and the specs and the details and how many reserve list cards, the financial value, the sealed box? Like, should we go into that? I just feel like no one cares. That's why I haven't done it. And like even alliances. Sure, you think alliances, Force of Will, Rudy, original one. Actually, not reserve list. Well, Rudy, Helm of Obedience, Wake of the Dead. Whoa. I mean, yeah, these are iconic, like historical cards of significant value and just appearance and nostalgia of the art and but nobody really cares. And on top of that, most of the rare cards, or I think Alliances was the U2 or U3, the print sheets were common, but still the pseudo rares in Alliances. I'm like, have you ever seen how many cards in Alliances are reserve lists? It's fucking huge. Like, I think it was it 50? No, it's like, I think it's like 75% of the rare card, the pseudo rares, the cards in Alliances are like reserve lists. And I think it was like 70 or 80% of the rares in like a Mirage and Visions are like reserve lists. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's insane stuff. But a lot of that is just straight trash rares. A lot of those cards, people only buy them because they are reserve lists or they're set collecting. And even then, there's just not much going on to them. Now, every once in a while, you get the outlier, and, you know, some new card is printed, and it kind of interacts with some random card 30 years ago, and that random $2 reserve list card goes to $100. You know, something weird. But that's an outlier. Majority of the time, there's just nothing going on. You know, and there's no sloshy money going around. Interest rates are high. People aren't targeting it. That's the reality. That's why you don't see a lot of videos in the reserve list. You don't see a lot of conversation on this channel about 90s and ABU and stuff going on, because I've done so many hundreds of videos on these topics. And right now, there's no real news to report to you all. And even a long video and discussion like this, like I told you all earlier, this is not going to get a lot of views and interaction and kind of conversation. It's just not that interesting because there's no emotional trigger that I can give you guys right now. There's no topic. I'll try to put maybe a dramatic title to the video or something. I'll put something dramatic, try to trigger people or get people upset, or maybe, you know, Rudy hoses or gets this or steals this or bait. I mean, I'll put some bait title or something to try to get people agitated, but there's really nothing, you know, there's no real activity happening in old Magic that's going to make you all look at your phone, see a Rudy video, and go, oh my God, what's going on with Arabian Nights? There is just nothing there. And that is the sad reality of Magic in 2024. You know, I don't know how long this particular market cycle is going to last, but in 2024, all the activity and all the money and all the excitement is going to new product. New product is doing very, very well. You know, everything post-2020 has been upticking like crazy. The overprinted era of 2021, 2022, standard boxes, all those cheap draft boxes, everything is upticking. We have all these garbage draft boxes that were trash that Rudy was selling for years that all were useless. And it was all of them now that were $60, $70, $80, $90 trash. They're all over $100, $110, $100. I mean, they've all moved up 20 to 50% from their lows. Now, it's still not a dramatic move, really, but the point is, we have seen a tremendous shift. And I don't know how long that will last. It's been, a lot of people didn't even think what has happened the last 6 months. Just before, I'll end the video, I promise. But like, to give you guys an idea, when I first started making videos in November, December about the market turn, I first started reporting, hey, if you look on this channel, if you go back to November of 2023, October of 2023, December of 2023, you start seeing videos of me saying, hey, we're seeing indicators that the new Magic market is bottomed and turning. And of course, those videos were just wrecked with just negative pumping bags and ball sacks and memes and this and that. And of course, everybody was just like, wow, this guy's really back to shilling. Nobody, it was just met with just straight garbage. And then when January of 2024 hit and Ravnica Remastered was coming out, and I kept saying, hey, stores under-ordered it, and I started seeing the box openings of Ravnica Collectors hit, I was like, whoa, this is really impressive. And the print run's been cut majorly. And I knew we were going to have a follow-through. Then February hit. So as I started seeing moving forward, I kept reporting, you know, this, because everybody thought it was a dead cat bounce. We went through a 2-year crash. We saw a little uptick in November, December of 2023. And everybody thought it was just going to go to hell again. And then everybody thought Ravnica was going to collapse. It was going to drop it right back to a crash. And it didn't happen. And then the last indicator that solidified the Rudy opinion and the Rudy context in the situation was we finally had a bad set. Carlos Foreclosed Manor came out and crashed. And even with Magic releasing a set that came out and it fucked everyone and dropped, even with a crashing set, the bull market continued. That's what stood out to me. Even with Karlov not doing well, we had fallout. Then, of course, we had Outlaw Slender Junction. We had these other sets come out afterwards, and it didn't derail or stall out the recovery. That is what, to me, has solidified that the 2024 new Magic market is a bull market, and it will continue to do very well moving forward. That was the final thing. That's how I knew, we had a set come out and do bad, and the market jumped over the speed bump, and is continuing to push forward. I mean, when I look at all these sets, Jesus, I mean, dude, the Kamigawa, the Phyrexia, March of the Machine, the Brothers Ward, Wilds of Eldraine, the Ixalan. It's been incredibly impressive and incredibly successful for Hasbro Wizards. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're a patron, I'll give you some updates here at the end of the video. Sunday night, I'll probably release this Sunday afternoon. We have the last Weiss sale of the Saikano set, movie finale. And I don't know if anyone's going to want it, but I'm going to run a little sale on it. It's incredibly low printed. There is literally nothing available, but I don't think anyone's going to want the set anyways. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I am selling the Ixalan draft boxes to you all, Lost Scourge of Ixalan, for $89 shipped, and I am getting completely wrecked with it. I'm only doing limit 1 box per patron on their order per month kind of thing now, because I just can't keep up at $89 shipped, because these boxes, it's like $30, $40 off market price right now. So I've burned through like all 1,000 boxes already, and I've got more coming. It's just been insane, the demand for draft boxes. And of course, final reminder to you all, this is the last, if you're a patron, this is the last 7 to 14 days. This is the last month for Commander Legends Boulder's Gate set boxes at $89 shipped also. Those are now at $100 plus tax on TCG Player, and I am getting blown out again. I'm selling probably 10 to 30 boxes a day, and I'm down to about a third or half a pallet now, and that's going to be the end of that, and that will be pulled down also. That's the next one on the chopping block. And of course, we have moving forward to the next month, it's going to be pretty interesting. We got some multiple videos coming on the Flesh and Blood with the Mistveil set, with the exclusive Rudy promo. And go on TCG Player, check out the Mistveil, and you can see some of these new promo marvels and the anime, the Japanese style, the women, the heroes. Dude, check it out. This is quite a bit of hype around it. It's still like a month away. It's been pretty interesting because we've never had a Flesh and Blood in that direction, so we got multiple videos coming on that. As the filming of this, no, I don't have any more sorcery kits. Please stop asking. There's no more. I ran a sale leftovers. I was like, hey, I've got like 50. No, it's not 50. It was like 70 or 80 leftover sorcery kits because I rejected a lot of payments from people who weren't patrons, people who tried to send a payment and disappear, people who tried to do shady shit. So I have some leftover ones. And then so I was like, hey, send a message to patrons. If you want more sorcery, you get multiple 3 beta booster boxes, exclusive playmat, the Slabbed Naked Chick promo, whatever card. You get all your starter brick and everything. I jacked the price up from like $700 to $899. And if anybody wants them, free for all. So by the time you watch this, they're probably long gone. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, folks. Oh, and after Modern Horizons 3, which that'll be a crazy one, is I got my new Antiquities. Celebrate the 30 years of Antiquities for Magic the Gathering. It'll be fun. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Oh my God, 38 minutes.